Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching 17th day of May 2020. And we've got a lot of things to touch on. We're going to try to get it done as in a quick and expedient manner as possible. Thankfully, there aren't any mega things happening. It's relatively quiet, which with the way things are in our world is oftentimes the calm before the storm. So let's enjoy it and let's be quick. Start out with Israel and with Iraq. Now, before I go any further, Chris is going to be on with us tomorrow, our security and military terrorism expert. We're going to be talking about a whole lot of things. We will be talking more in depth about Israel and Iraq tomorrow. I just want to tell you a couple of things real quick. There is bread shortages going. There are bread shortages happening in Iraq. There have been food riots in Iraq, okay, over the lack of bread in certain areas, not all across Iraq, but in certain areas. The government is starting to ration bread. They're going to start to ration chicken, other foods. Okay. What's going on in Ukraine and in Russia, the heat that's happening in India, these are all putting crimps on the flow of wheat, which is used to make many types of bread. And it's just going to spread. Okay, without getting into too much detail at the moment, it's just going to spread. Next, we jump over to the west part of Africa and Mali. Chris got a hold of me and told me that there was a coup underway in Mali. I believe it's failed, but I don't want to get into too much depth because Chris is coming on tomorrow. We're going to talk all about that. We've talked about this area a lot. Burkina Faso, Benin, Togo, Ghana, formerly the Ivory Coast, the Côte d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. Then the capital of Mali, Bamako, I believe is how it's pronounced. Chris will tell us all about that tomorrow and more. A couple of other things I want to touch on the international level, if you will. First being that according to Barbara Starr of CNN, the US has assesses that North Korea is preparing for a possible long-range ballistic missile test within days as Biden prepares to travel to Asia. We told you about this for about a week now. We showed you the radar of our planes that are tracking the North Korean coastline, monitoring what's going on there, basically telling you that we're seeing the same things that we've seen in the past as they prepare for a potential nuclear tipped missile to be tested. Why this time is CNN bringing it up? Normally they don't cover these. They don't pay a lot of attention to this. It's because Joe Biden, the president of the United States, is going to be in South Korea in just a few days. I know it sounds like evil villain Hollywood B-rated movie, but keep in mind that's who this guy is. The perfect time to attack America would be when Joe Biden is within 100 to 200 miles from where this guy's going to be. I hope that's not the reason that CNN is bringing this up now, but nonetheless, it's got to give us something to think about, and as if we don't have enough. The trucker convoy officially rolled back into Hagerstown Speedway in Hagerstown, Maryland about 70 to 75 miles north and to the west of Washington, D.C. This is their staging area, the staging area that they used back in, I believe it was February or March when they were there before. And you run it up a little bit here, we'll get a look at some of them coming in. It was a major steady line of traffic. I'm stopping here because of the Let's Go Brandon shirt on the guy. We know what that means. We know that's part of the white replacement theory group. However, I've been told that they're not all like that. They're not all like that. Because to me, this is, hey, there's a whole bunch of white supremacists gathering at this racetrack right by the federal government center in Washington, D.C. Is this, shouldn't this be something of major concern? I'm told they're not all like that. They're not all like that. I reached out to give the benefit of the doubt. I've reached out to a couple of people to see if they'll come on the program and do an interview, and we'll see if they really are like that. We'll see, because they can only keep up the talk if it's not real. They can only keep it up for a short amount of time, and then they'll lose their temper, whether I provoke them or not, which I won't. But if they lose their temper, and then the truth comes out, so hopefully a couple of them will take me up on the invitation, and we'll see what they're really all about. That being said, I wanted to begin real quick with our rundown, reminding everybody of this from the ex-president himself. Basically, he declared himself the return of the great MAGA king in a post online that the QAnon people ate up, and here's him backing that up.
Then they called me the great king of MAGA. And I said, the great king. Great king. And I said, that's a good thing, isn't it?
He's perfectly fine with it. He wants it. They want it. I talk about it a lot on here, and it's not because I'm crazy. It's because we need to be aware in case this movement happens, when this movement happens. Some other things to be aware of: arrested, murdered, arrested, murdered. Let's go up the poster. Thing is, we can name everybody on the poster, those that were murdered and those that were arrested without incident in many cases. This is that 2000 Mules movie. This is supposed to be the proof. This is one of the catalysts to try to inspire everybody to rise up and overthrow the government and make Donald Trump king. Okay? Just so we know where the rules are and what the sides are. This is from the guy. Again, we talk about him. He is a felon. He has been pardoned by Donald Trump, or he would be in jail right now on election fraud. So he comes out and does a favor for Donald Trump, trying to make a movie on election fraud and propel a movement to push for the legitimate king of America. Well, here's his latest Here's his latest post. Okay, I get it. It's a bit steep for some people to pay $29.99. $29.99 to watch an online movie. Man, you can get a WWE WrestleMania pay-per-view for more than that, or for that, which is a lot more than this horrible movie. So to further expand the research of 2000 or the reach of 2000 Mules, I'm going to make it more accessible. Okay, nobody's going to pay this. Let's lower it to $19.99. If it was really so all important, why isn't it free? If it's really going to save America, why isn't it free? Because it's about making money. It's always about making money. It's a con. You're a conservative, you're either conning somebody into serving you, or you're being served by somebody that cons you. That's how conservatism works. It doesn't advance anything anywhere. It just tramples on existing things. And so if you want to self-identify as that, rock on, brother and sister. A little lightheartedness with all the heavy stuff going on. This is something that, if not all of us, an awful lot of us did have done in the past. Make paper airplanes. This is the World Championship paper airplane, brought to you by Red Bull. Longest straight distance. He threw it over 200 feet. Just thought that was impressive and a good way to take a little break. World Championships of the paper airplane competition. Seats as low as $9. American Freedom Tour. Donald Jr., Gaffole, the election fraud specialist, Candace Owens, and Mike Pompeo, with your headliner, Donald Trump. It's the exact same poster from Austin, Texas. It is now the American Freedom Tour. There are going to be no more rallies because there's weather and there's people that you can't control that come in there, and they're not paying anything to see him. So now that's all changed. You can get tickets for as low as $9 for those that are interested. And you look at all this and say, oh my gosh, somebody's compiling all the, or a few, not all by any stretch of imagination, but a few of the bad things that are being said about Marjorie Taylor Greene. And they are. It's Adam Kinzinger, a Republican member of Congress who wants to get rid of the Trumponian era and get rid of the Trumpers. Another little bit of lightheartedness here. I'm just going to play a couple of seconds of this. Play that funky music, white boy. That's how That's how rock and roll started. That's how music started, according to the expert archaeologist and specialist in prehistoric music, and created his own lithophone. So just sharing that with you. I want to share this as well. This pitiful face. This is a victim. This is a victim of what happened in Buffalo, New York, Saturday. He is a white politician in running for Senate in Arizona, but like a lot of white, rich, right-wing politicians, they're victims. Okay, they're victims of what happened. Victims, I say, they're victims. You remember I telling you, remember me telling you, remember I telling you, remember me telling you, create a problem, blame somebody else, be the victim. Well, we're going to listen to this. Let's just do, and then I'll point a few things out.
That's not enough for the media. They shamelessly take advantage and politicize. Whenever there's a shooting, at least if the murderer is white, the left does two things. First, they call every Republican a white supremacist sympathizer. Then, second, they try to come after our guns. So that's been the discourse for the last 2 days. You know, they especially want to come after rising conservative politicians. I put out a clip of a recent interview with Ben Shapiro. I talked about how illegal immigration.
You notice a couple of things. The really bad thing that happened where people were killed, all right? The really bad thing that happened wasn't his political speech, or it wasn't his campaign, or it wasn't the fact that justifiably so, until proven otherwise, the Republican Party is the KKK party. Now, if you're not a member of that, that's great. If you are a member of that, you better prove it's not the KKK party, because that's 75% of the country is looking at it that way, including about 10% of Republicans who are going, what? This guy claims to be a victim. Not only does he not say it was an atrocity, not only does he not say it was horrific, not that he doesn't say anything like that. He doesn't even say thoughts and prayers. He lashes out about how he's a victim of being attacked because he's part of a movement that stokes and pushes these people. And that's why I led off with the truckers are back in Hagerstown, Maryland, because those are the kind of people like this want to push. Okay. Sorry. Let's take a listen to the whole thing. All right. Just for the benefit of the doubt. Okay, we've already heard the
shooting. At least if the murderer is white, the left does two things. First, they call every Republican a white supremacist sympathizer. Then, second, they try to come after our guns. So that's been the discourse for the last 2 days. You know, they especially want to come after rising conservative.
It wasn't my discourse over the past 2 days. My discourse is something horrendous happened in Buffalo, New York, and let's make people aware of it that aren't, and let's do everything we can to make sure this kind of stuff stops happening. Just something to think about.
Politicians. I put out a clip of a recent interview with Ben Shapiro. I talked about how illegal immigration is a disaster and how massive.
Okay. It's illegal immigration. That's the problem. I hope you all are seeing this. I know a lot of you've seen it. I know you've had your eyes open, but there are people that still aren't getting what's really happening.
Amnesty, it's this electoral strategy for the Democrats. So today, the request from journalists kept court.
Okay, why is immigration a problem? Why does this matter? Immigration's a problem because it's white replacement theory. It's the white supremacy's underlying conspiracy theory. And it's right here in this video that's supposed to be about how bad it was, what happened in Buffalo, New York. It's just something to think about. Just something to think about. Once again, let's recap. Truckers are in Maryland, Hagerstown, Maryland, about 75 miles north and west of downtown Washington, D.C. They say they're coming back this time with a vengeance. Some of them calling it the Convoy. Others, you know, it's not the people's convoy, it's the people's Convoy. That's what, that's sick. It's not me. I didn't do it. I didn't make this up. I don't make any of this stuff up. I just show you what really is going on and let you decide for yourselves. We're going to talk to Chris tomorrow. A coup, which I believe failed, but an attempted coup. Why it's significant, why it plays into what's going on in Ukraine, all of that. We're also going to talk with Chris more in depth about what's going on in Israel and Iraq. We're recapping here, wrapping up. And for those that are still with us, you'll be glad you are. Information I've been given, there's something going on in Israel right now. It's a training mission. It's called Chariots of Fire. It is the absolute biggest training mission the Israeli military have ever undertaken. I am told the Israeli military are going to take out any and all potential nuclear sites from Iran, right over here, okay? I am told they're going to take out any and all nuclear sites. They're preparing for a mass attack against Iran. Now, the citizens of Israel are also preparing. I am told they're preparing to absorb a monster counterattack from Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, even Egypt, possibly Libya, and without a doubt, from Iran. We'll talk more about this coming up because it's anticipated that Chris and I talked, I think the last time Chris and I talked, it was Iran is really literally just weeks away from getting a nuclear weapon, okay? What I heard today was Iran has enough high-grade material for one, maybe two, and they're putting new centrifuges in that are going to be making more and more quicker. Okay, and Israel's going to stop them. Supposedly sometime in the next 10 to 20 days. Don't be surprised if it's sooner rather than later. And Chris and I, again, will talk about this tomorrow. Again, US, we're keeping an eye on what's going on in North Korea. You know, it's like Austin Powers, you know, 1 million. It's like Austin Powers almost, but that's how this, I think that's how this guy's head works. He thinks about movies, you know, Top Gun, and he loves American movies. And the secret or the super evil villain thing to do would be attack the United States when its president was 100 miles away from you in your neighbor, South Korea. It's asinine, it's absurd, it's beyond the unthinkable, but with the way things are, we got to throw it out there. Prepare, okay? Prepare for anything and everything. You know, the sun is going to be a potential threat over the next 3 to 4 days because of ejections of potentially plasma and radiation. And we're going to watch. And if they're happening, we'll let you know and what the consequences could possibly be. we haven't had any events other than minor things for a while. So the hope and the expectation is that's what we get through the week. All right. But we're watching all this stuff, and anything does happen, we'll pop back on and let you know about it. Prepare. Don't panic. Don't be afraid of anything. All right. Don't be afraid of anything, and prepare for everything. What do I mean by prepare? What do I mean by prepare? 4 things. Prepare mentally, prepare physically, prepare spiritually, and prepare emotionally. Just think about things, not necessarily in that order. Depends on who you are. Prepare those 4 things so that right off the bat, something happens and you're not sure what is going on. You're going to think about scenarios. What could this be? You're going to be prepared. You're not going to panic, or at least not as much as 98.9% of the rest of the people. 1.2 of us supposedly are, it's a pretty small number, but at the same time, we pay attention to a lot of different things, and we don't watch a lot of Honey Boo Boo. So thank you for watching this. I greatly appreciate it. And again, Chris is going to be on tomorrow. It's going to be one you won't want to miss. Hopefully we'll have a couple of the guys from the truckers convoy, and we'll find out, if it's the convoy or the clanvoy. And I hope it's the former rather than the latter. I would really still like to believe that the amount of racists are incredibly small, but the proof is in the social media. I love you all. Thanks for watching. Be back real soon.